Hello, Wojak community. Today is March 4th, 2026. A gorgeous, gorgeous day. Seems like winter is almost gone and spring is not far off. And hopefully, it's the same thing for crypto. Um, I see that today the whole market is up from Dow to gold to crypto. Uh, I think for the past week or so, I didn't really pay attention to the macro market, but it seems like a lot of things were crashing. I knew that gold yesterday dropped $200. Silver crashed like 12, 13%. And oil, of course, went up. And everything was related to the war with Iran, as expected. And we talked about this 2, 3 weeks ago. At that time, we were anticipating that U.S. is going to bomb Iran. And we thought that the rise in gold and silver prices were heavily influenced by the uncertainty of this war in the Middle East. Because a lot of people were anticipating that if U.S. attacks Iran, it's going to be the beginning of World War III, or at least a regional war in the Middle East. And my assessment at that time is that, the U.S. military is, way above the rest of the world. I believe that even if the entire world, tried to fight against the U.S. Army and Air Force, U.S. can take the whole world down. So Iran, even though it had these air defenses from Russia and China, but it seems those air defenses were completely ineffective. So it doesn't matter how much China and Russia try to tout the effectiveness of their weapons and military capabilities. It seems in real battles, they are quite like the paper tigers. They were not effective at all. And for the past week, we've seen that. Um, but the world didn't know that. That's why the capital was flying into gold and silver, because if there's going to be a World War III and God forbid there's a nuclear war, gold and silver will temporarily, at least, act as a safe haven for capital of the world. And we even use the analogy that is kind of like a blackout. Let's say that the financial reset or a major war is like a blackout. And in blackout, when you don't have electricity, you use candles for lighting. So gold and silver acted like candles, in this financial reset. But once power goes back online, people are not going to use candles. People will use LED lights. And that's what we're seeing now. Yesterday when Bitcoin was dropping $200, it was dropping 3 or 4%. I mean, when gold was dropping 3 or 4%, Bitcoin, dropped as well, but less than 2%. And today, when gold and silver goes up a little bit, Bitcoin just significantly outperforms gold and silver, over the past few days. At least since the world, since the moment the world realized that this war between U.S., Israel, and Iran is not going to be a hard-fought war. It's, so far it seems like the objectives of the West are being accomplished way ahead of schedule. And it seems like the IRGC forces are really unexpectedly weaker, which is a surprise to, I'm sure, to many Western observers, because people thought, oh, this guy has been sponsoring terrorism all over the world. The IRGC, it must have something, in their reserves that can put up a fight. But so far, we don't see that. We saw the Iranian army and navy, and everybody was destroyed and dismantled. And the terrorist organizations they try to support, they didn't even try to even voice support for their boss. I think Hezbollah yesterday tried to launch some kind of attack against Israel, and immediately top 30 of the Hezbollah leaders got eliminated by a new round of Israeli bombing. And right now you have the Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar, and UAE. They are vowing to join in the fight against Iran. So Iran is really done. The IRGC, I shouldn't say Iran, because the IRGC is a very small faction that consists of Islamic extremists that really hijacked the country of Iran over the past 47 years. So I personally don't think, again, it's going to be a hard war. It's not going to be like Afghanistan or Iraq in the early 2000s. I think U.S. is going to go in and out and establish either a monarchy that's governed under constitution or democracy. But either way, the new government of Iran is going to be friendly towards the West. Once we get rid of this Sharia law and also the Islamic regime. So that's why the world capital is seeing that. And we see that Bitcoin is really doing well, and gold and silver not so much. And it's only the beginning. I believe in the coming days, weeks, and months, capital is going to flight from gold and silver back into Bitcoin. And that's when we're going to see incredible gains in crypto. And it's unfortunate because Wojak is, again, underperforming the market. I mean, the OG Wojak 0x50 contract is actually holding up relatively better compared to the new Jack. The new Jack also went up today, but not much, just barely a blip. We went up, as almost as much as Ethereum did. So, I want to shout out to the creator, or the pusher behind the migration to the new Jack coin, Alien My Lady and his group. Before we try to appease to your good side, your conscience. Try to lift up the warning tags that you slapped on us on these centralized platforms. Now, we realize this probably doesn't work. Let's reason together. It seems, at least, for the past 3 weeks of the migration, the new Jack token is underperforming even the OG Wojak, and I think we are seeing a new crypto bull market coming on the horizon. So don't you want to have another option in case that your new Jack token is not going to make it? So let's reason together. Why don't you just, I'm speaking to Alien My Lady right now. Why don't you just reach out to the centralized platforms and tell them to lift the ban, these shadow ban and warning tags on the 0x50 contract? And you don't need to invest back into our token. Maybe just like put $50 into the OX50 token, because in case that we are the Wojak that's going to make it, you and your team will be bailed out, right? Because right now it seems like the market is rejecting the new Jack token. Nobody is really buying it, If the price goes up a little bit, people are gonna sell it. So you're really, not only hurting yourself, the people who migrated with you. You're also really tarnishing, I would say, the Wojak brand. You know, right now I don't see any person from the crypto community, even though if they can identify with Wojak, the character, they're not gonna touch Wojak tokens. You know, many of the tokens on Solana, they're straight up scams. The rest of them are running by kids, so there's no longevity, no persistence, no grit. And then there's your new Jack token. It's a vamp really against your own community. I mean, just reason with me. I mean, if you can reason, if you have a reasonable thinking here, how much goodwill and trustworthiness can you generate in the wider crypto community if you even betrayed your own community, through this migration? I hope that what I'm saying is not too harsh. I don't mean to offend anyone. I'm still hoping that we can work out an agreement where we can work together and collaborate and get Wojak back to its own rightful place. And that's why I'm trying to appeal for your own self-interest. Let's talk together. Let's dialogue and see what we can do that can be beneficial to both you, the new Jack token, and to the OG Wojak. I feel like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket in crypto. And so far the new Jack token is not making it. So maybe you want to consider not harming, sabotaging the OX50 contract. So that's all I have. I don't want to harp on this cord for too long. Just some food for thought for Alien My Lady, in case you're listening, or to any of the people in the New Jack group. Please think this through and reach out, and let's talk about what we should do. Okay? No hard will, no hard feelings. We all want to, make money for everybody. Let's just work things out. That's all I have for today. I'll see everyone on the next video.